The minute the market has a heart attack and a seller can't pick up the phone and call their 9-to-5 discount broker, their neighborhood specialist, those companies are wiped off the face of the earth. I had to make a shift when I first got into the business of not just taking the business that came to me, but getting the business that I actually wanted and associating myself with that type of clientele, and going to the places where those people interacted, going to the places where those people vacationed, paying that little bit of extra money to fly first class somewhere, even if I couldn't afford it, so I could meet the other people in first class.
All these things, if it's even possible, or integrating it, how are you even pulling this off, right? A lot of us have these same kind of issues.
Yeah, two ways. One is just simple time management, right? I remember, what was it? Probably like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, maybe around the time when I did my first ARIA in New York, and I was so busy, and I know a lot of us probably feel that way. You're so busy, you're running around appointments, you don't know what's going on, and next thing you know, it's October, right? Like case in point, it's almost 2019 right now. And I was so busy all the time, and I was complaining at home to Amelia, who was my fiance at the time, who's now my wife. She looked at me and she said, "You know who's really busy? Obama." And she doesn't even remember saying it, but I remember it so much because it really put everything into perspective for me. And I was like, yo, you know what? You're right. He's probably a lot busier than I am, no matter how busy I think my life is. And so it came down to restructuring my time management and how I leverage myself and how I use people. I have 5 assistants and I have a team of 62 that support me, and I always have learned how to use people even before I've necessarily needed them. And that's something I think everybody in this room can learn from, right? You grow exponentially when you work with others. Even if it means making less on individual deals, you will make more in the aggregate that way. And then on top of that, it's about synergy, right? There's no work-life balance for me. And I don't say that in a negative way, I say that in a really, really positive way. I think it would really stress me out if I was so nervous about my work-life balance, that I'm at work all the time, and when am I gonna have time for my life? That would be terrible. Like I try to do it all at the same time. So I text, I BCC, and I FaceTime Amelia all day long. If I have appointments that start at 10 a.m. on Thursday, I'll have brunch with her instead of just going into the office and doing office work, right? I try to bring some of my life into my work time and some of my work time into my lifetime so that there's good synergy between it all. That way I'm more productive, I get more done, and then I remove all that life-work balance stress that everybody has. And it goes a long, long way. The only technology I like is technology that makes real estate agents and salespeople better, right? Everybody talks to me these days about all the discount brokerages and the Redfins and the Purple Bricks and these companies out there that are doing what we do at a lower percentage. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? Are these companies? Yeah. It's funny because we've relatively had a bull market for the last 10 years. September 2008 happens, the market had a little bit of an issue, and then things started to get better, and they've been pretty good since then. But if you look back in time, the last 100 years, these discount kind of brokerages come up all the time, every time the market is doing good. Every time the market is strong, every time the market's on fire, these companies pop up. The minute the market has a heart attack, and a seller can't pick up the phone and call their 9-to-5 discount broker, their neighborhood specialist, those companies are wiped off the face of the earth, right? The benefit that we have as incentivized commission salespeople is that I will pick up the phone at 2 in the morning for you, right? I will come to your house at 9 a.m. and talk about the paint colors because I'm incentivized. And so any technology that helps me do what I do better, which honestly is things like YouTube, right? Which is ways that I can reach my audience better, my future clients better, which are different types of CRMs. One of my favorite technologies ever, and I'm not a spokesperson for them whatsoever, is an email thing called SaneBox. It has completely changed my life with how I manage email, because my whole life is email. Right? I don't work at a tech company where I'm just doing projects within my floor here and I can use Slack or one of those other platforms. So SaneBox, it completely goes through all of my email, and it has this insane feature called Sane No Replies, which every Sunday I sit there and it shows me every email I sent from the week before that someone didn't reply to. So then I can sit there and just go to war, right? Like, hey Jim, get this email below I sent on Sunday last week at 8 a.m. So weird you don't reply to emails on time like your wife said you would. You know, that I do more deals because of that, because I can stay on top of people over and over and over. And that's the technology that I think is important. Anything that's going to make us better salespeople, that then enables us to be better for our clients going forward, is a technology that's going to succeed. Any technology that's out there to cut us out, human beings, salespeople that are incentivized and commissioned, that run around all day long for other people, it will not last. I promise.
Just to keep from losing my mind, I ride the roller coaster, kinda like a movie poster. I just want to feel more alive. When I get bored, I build some way. It's lonely on the island tonight. I feel it in my bones. All I need is you. I feel it in my bones. All I need is you.
I think our job as a salesperson, right, especially as real estate salespeople, is purely to prospect, right? Is to lead gen all day, every day. That's what I had to do when I was in New York City trying to act, find shows to be in. That's what I had to do when I first got into the business. It was like, okay, I have to go find clients. And then I think what happens is people make the mistake of then just becoming busy, and then they forget about the lead gen every day. They forget about the prospecting. They forget that you have to be kind of that finder of business all day, every day, and they start becoming like foot soldiers.
Hustler and the side street walker, I was trying just to survive. On the boundary.
By dropping me with no money on the corner of 49th and Madison and being told just to go meet random people on the street and try to see if they want to find apartments, like that was the best boot camp for me to try to figure out how to prospect every day, right? And that's something that I always go back to now dealing with my own team, is like when they come to me and they're like, well, it's been tough trying to find business. I'm like, how many people did you meet on the street today? It's New York City. It's Las Vegas, right? There are people all over the place, and the greatest part about our business is that every single person is a client.